Ladies and gentlemen, live from Kelvin University, it's The Tonight Show!
Welcome to The Tonight Show. I am your host, Jack Droppers. We may not be live, but we still have an incredible show for you tonight. Ken Heffner is here, and we will have a musical performance from Grant Mckenzie. But first, let's get to the news. Well, not a ton of newsworthy things really happened last week. So let's just talk about the weather. It's nice out. It's really nice out. Like, I'm wearing this jean jacket so you can't see how much I'm sweating nice out. And I don't really even have a joke about it. I just love how nice it is outside. It feels like I'm living in some sort of pumpkin spice daydream where everything is warm and fuzzy and... I'm sorry, what's that? Oh, something important did happen last week? Oh, yeah. It is official. Joe Biden will be the 46th President of the United States. Yes, that is right. After 4 days of everyone in America staring at white guys touching giant iPads on TV, every major news network has projected that Biden has won the election. Now, in an effort to be fair, news networks do not determine when a presidential candidate becomes the president-elect, which we were reminded of when Donald Trump spoke from the Oval Office and reminded Americans to be calm and patient and wait for the electors to officially make a decision. I'm sorry. Oh, that didn't happen? Oh, yeah, I see. Which we were reminded of when Trump lawyer Rudy Giuliani gave a press conference from the ballroom of the Four Seasons in Philadelphia. Sorry, what? Not the ballroom? Not even the hotel. Did you say landscaping? Four Seasons total landscaping? The one between the adult bookstore and the crematorium? You're sure that's not just a metaphor that NBC came up with? It's a real thing that happened? And it was on purpose? Not because it was a campaign intern that made a mistake? Okay, it seems like we still don't know all of the details. What we do know is that the president has declared victory in an election that every expert has said he lost. But let me just remind you that is a real and legitimate way to become the president of something. Just like last week when I became the president of Kelvin University during my conversation with former president Michael Leroy. I declare that I am the president of Kelvin University.
Yeah. No, I think that's really true. It's too much work.
Anyways, now that the election is over, I'd like to just speak from the heart a little bit about politics. But first, a caveat. I am an international studies major, which I have never used, and in no way does this qualify me to influence your politics. So let me just speak to the things that I do understand. Donald Trump wears a baseball hat whenever he's in a suit. He's constantly eating KFC, and he loves chanting things in large crowds, and he even dances like this. These are all things that describe me as a college student. Just look at this real picture of me in college wearing a backwards hat with a tie on while eating an ice cream cone. So let me just offer this piece of advice to the president and maybe to anyone who is feeling disheartened by the results of the election. It's a piece of advice that was given to me, college me, when I was also in a season of transition in my life. The piece of advice is this: move toward the pain. Move toward the pain that you see within yourself, toward the pain in the lives of those you love, and toward the pain in this world. Compassion is not cowardice. Self-reflection is not selfish. And at the end of the day, empathy is essential for leadership. We'll be right back with Ken Heffner. Welcome back. He is the former director of the Student Activities Office, and it took him being fired for me to finally have a job. Ladies and gentlemen, Ken Heffner. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's great to have you here on campus.
Yeah, it's great. It's my first time to be back on.
There you go. We had to sneak you in.
Yep. Actually, it's pretty easy.
It's pretty easy to sneak. I've asked you this in private, but now that we have cameras in front of us, how's retirement?
Oh, I don't like it.
I assumed you wouldn't.
No, I don't like it. And it's partly because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Because you retire and then you just stay in your hole.
Yeah.
So, so that I'm not liking. But I'm not jealous of what you're having to deal with. I'll say that to the whole world.
Yeah.
I just feel bad that you just had to like pretty quickly step into a COVID world.
Yeah.
And how that's affected the entire touring industry and the music industry and venues, and you're a venue, and so yeah.
Yeah, it's been.
So I don't miss that.
You don't miss that. You stepped out at the right moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I miss this kind of work. I miss being with students on a daily basis. But I have been doing some stuff.
All right.
So I worked on Hillary Scholten's campaign to some degree. Sadly, it didn't pan out. She gave it a great shot, but she didn't prevail for District 3 here in Michigan. And I've been doing a lot of work on my house, so my house is in very good shape.
There you go.
So yeah, but I am trying to figure out what to do next. That might come up maybe later on in this interview. We'll
Yeah.
see.
So I saw on Gail's Facebook that the two of you were, she called it nonpartisan poll watching last week, which I assume is you. Two of you showed up with your AK-47s.
Yes, yeah, but they weren't loaded.
And just told everyone to stop or count the votes depending on which county you were in.
We were there just to make because there had been so much talk about possible disruptions. There were nonpartisan people at a lot of places just helping out inside, but also on the outside, just watching, making sure people know where to go. Do you have any questions? You may not want to wear that in there.
Yep.
How did it go when they come out? And just basically be hospitable and welcoming. So there's an outdoor presence. And we did that. And it was great. It was very quiet, no disruptions, steady flow all day. We had like 8 to 10 first-time voters, so that was fun. So yeah, it went well.
Did you feel, you've told me before that people have stopped you at the grocery store and said like, I love this band that you brought in.
Sure.
Did you get any of that? Did you?
I had one voter who was a Calvin grad.
Okay.
Who said hi and told me who she was, and we didn't talk about bands.
Yeah. So I've been asking this question on Twitter, and nobody responds to me whenever I ask questions on Twitter. But I'm curious if, because all of these like NBA teams open up their arenas to vote in, and some NBA players would be at the polls, and I'm wondering they would like tweet out, "I'm going to be at the polls between these hours." And
come and vote.
Yeah, come and vote. And so I'm wondering if like you have some celebrity status in West Michigan. If you were to tweet out, Ken Heffner will be at the polls, do you get a draw from that? But
nope, not at least not that anybody said. Plus, we didn't know where we were going to the last minute anyway.
Yeah.
So.
We were talking a little bit before about your grandchild being baptized during.
Yesterday.
I'm curious, what's that like, and did they use a squirt gun?
No. But it's so strange to do all these things in COVID. So it was Zoom church. We were at the church. Okay. But we were the only people there besides the tech crew and some musicians and the pastor. And the thing that was just the funny part was, which would not have happened if it wasn't for COVID, is that there was a big screen so everyone can see the different shots that are being done. And then, so now, boom, here's the baptism on the screen. And our granddaughter sees herself on the screen, and she just starts vamping. Yeah. And she's just doing it, she's only 4. Yeah. But she's doing the poses and moving, and it's all during baptism, and checking her, and it was just hysterical to watch her do that. So, and that's a COVID thing.
Yes. Kids will see themselves on screens.
Oh yeah, and definitely like check it out. Yeah. Oh, this is what it looks like.
So people don't realize this still at concerts, that you ask the same questions over and over again, which I now ask over and over again whenever I'm interviewing a band, or even after a movie. Sometimes I'll ask some of these same questions over and over again. And I know from you and from my own experience that people will say like, "Oh, I love the questions today," and I always respond, "They're the same."
So I'm going to ask a little bit of nuance, but not a whole lot.
I'm going to ask you 3 of these questions that we ask every artist.
Okay.
The first one.
Have you been doing this with other guests too?
I haven't.
Oh, okay.
So I figured you'd get the special
okay.
treatment. It's sort of like that Spider-Man meme where the two Spider-Mans are pointing at each other. What are you listening to these days?
I'm getting ready to listen to a bunch of Gillian Welsh.
Okay.
Because there was a gorgeous piece in New York Times yesterday or day before that Hanif Abdurraqib did. Mm-hmm. Hanif spoke at the 2017 Festival of Faith and Music. He's a brilliant writer and poet. But he did a great story on them. And we've had Gillian and David Rawlings here before. Mm-hmm. And so I just haven't listened to them in a while. Mm-hmm. I thought, I need to give that a listen. I've been, of course, listening to Sufjan Stevens' newest album, mm-hmm. The Ascension, several times. I like this one single that Julianne has put out, Julianne Baker. I'm looking forward to the album. I listened to Springsteen's new one, A Letter to You, and watched the doc on Apple Plus.
Which is great. It's a great documentary.
It is a great documentary, and it would be good. Good way to how do you do that kind of a thing?
Yeah.
Here's my disappointment with it.
Right.
Actually, Chris Smith, former professor here, and I were Zooming together talking about this. He's a huge Springsteen fan, and I'll give credit to Chris on this. Chris said it's a great album. It was a nice movie, but it was the wrong time. The country's in a crisis right now at multiple levels. Mm-hmm. And he's always been a person to kind of speak into that and help the nation kind of understand it as an artist. And he was a no-show. This album doesn't talk about it.
Yeah.
And so maybe he's got another one up his sleeve ready to come out in 2 months. But it just seemed like this is a nice album, but how about like 2 years from now you release this album?
Yeah.
And so that was my only disappointment. I was looking to him to help us understand the times, which he's done before consistently.
Yeah.
So that's all.
Yeah.
But it's great.
Second question: what makes an audience a good audience?
The fine balance of realizing that there's art going on and there's entertainment going on at the same time. So if it's only art, then it becomes very academic and clinical. If it's only entertainment, it becomes rather dismissive. And so if you do both, you have this fine mix. And so an audience that can both be very attentive, but then an audience that at the right times is very responsive. And so I think that's a great audience. An audience also that has been briefed, they know what they're coming to. Of course, they're expecting to be surprised because that's the nature of live. But they also know something about who they're coming to. Same way if you were to go to an art museum, you should probably know something about the pieces you're going to look at. And because you'll understand, they'll just be so much more meaningful to you that way.
Yeah, so. And museums will have the artist statement often.
Yeah.
And so I know that in some ways, the playbills that we have.
You're still doing the playbills?
We are.
So the playbill is kind of like an artist statement.
Yeah.
Curated by the venue rather than the artist. But it's a way to help you get ready.
It would be interesting to see if artists would ever want to write their own playbill, like their own statement. Like, hey, we're going to hand this out.
You will find that hardly anyone ever asks them that, so they have to I've never done that before.
Will you pay us more if we do this?
Yeah, I bet there are some who would do it.
Final question. This is one that you started asking near the tail end of your time here to artists. It is not a stretch to say we are a culture in crisis. What responsibility do you would ask artists have in a culture in crisis? I'll ask, what responsibility does Ken Heffner have in a culture in crisis?
Well, I always knew the answer to that, which was to do what I did. To mentor and disciple students and to curate the best concert season, film season we can do. But I don't do that anymore. So I don't have that answer anymore. And I'm trying to figure out what the new answer is, and I know it has to be something. But I'm still trying to find out. And I want to have that answer because I feel like I have an obligation to help. But I haven't found it yet. I mean, I dabbled a little bit in politics. I'm doing some stuff on climate change, but they're all small things. I need to sort this out, and I'm a bit agitated by it that I don't know.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense. If you do this one thing and you grow incredibly skilled at that one thing, and then the thing ends.
Then you stop. It's like, well, what's now what?
Yeah.
And some people are content to be, I'm fine doing nothing.
Yeah.
I'm only medium fine doing nothing. So I want to do things, but I haven't figured out what that is. And a lot of people said, hey, it takes a year.
Yeah.
Well, I'm noticing it's coming up on a year.
Yeah.
So it's like, so.
How long does it take in a pandemic? It's probably the right question.
At 30%. There you go.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Well, I know that retirement has been hard for you, but I want to thank you for retiring in December
welcome.
And not in May, or I would not be here in all reality.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for that, and thanks for being on the show.
Hey, I want to say good things about what you're doing.
Do it.
So Jack and I have been able to talk and meet a couple times since I left, and also just watching what you're doing. This, for one thing, is brilliant. And it's something we should have done a long time ago. We just didn't have the bandwidth to do it. And partly the lack of a concert season has kind of opened up space for you to do this. It'll be interesting to see if you have a full season, can you still pull this off? But this is really good. I like this because I have such a more public, all kinds of people who care about what happens here but can't be here get to be involved because of this show. So this is really good. And also just trying to figure out how do you still do something when you can't do live performance. And you're doing it here and there. And I just think I feel bad for how bad this is for you. But you're doing well given the constraints.
Well, thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here. We are going to cut away now to a live performance from Grant Mckenzie.
Hi, I'm Grant Mckenzie, playing a couple bands, Juicy Gossip and the Mannequins. This is a song by the Mannequins that came out in Halloween. Hope you like it. It's on all streaming platforms. Thought I found you in a secret society. Was a mafia front down the street from me. Found an old photograph, but it doesn't look like me. And I hope I find you in good health, 'cause you stole my ID, and you beg and you hope and you pray for the end of the day, 'cause I've got something for you. Taking in oxygen and you're taking your vitamins, man. Never knew that it was bad. Wish I could show you something to stop the pain of feeling nothing. Spreading light just like you planned. Well, I planned. And you beg and you hope and you pray for the end of the day, 'cause I've got something for you. Ghouls and ghosts, oh, everything you love the most, babe. Ghouls and ghosts, oh. And I've been searching cemeteries, looking for your dead body. I've been looking for a teenage ghost. Whoa. And I I've got a bedsheet baby with 2 holes for eyes. And now nobody sees me, and they all think you died. Oh, but why'd you have to be so mean? It was Halloween. But now it's everyday go. Ghouls and ghosts. Oh, everything you love the most, babe. Ghouls and ghosts. And I've been searching cemeteries, looking for your dead body. I've been looking for a teenage ghost. Oh. Make it real. Take it out of your head. What you think about in bed? Who do you think about in bed? Make it real. Make it round. Something to put your arms around. Someone to put your arms around. And we'll carve our names into the bridge. We'll pretend that we were cool kids. We'll pretend that things were different, that it didn't end. We'll pretend we lived immortally and there was no one in this town except for you and me. We'll pretend that things were different, that it didn't end. We'll pretend that our idealized youth didn't end at age 9 or age 5 or 2. We'll pretend that things were different, that everything was alright. At least tonight, 'cause I'm holding on to her in the backseat by the heater, and she whispers in my ear, and I swear that I believe her, 'cause I've been waiting for this moment since the day that Jesus died. I've been waiting for this moment since the music started in 1995, and I look at her and she hits me with those eyes, and I don't know where I am, and I don't know where I lie, but I'm so happy I could die. I'm so happy I could die, and I've been waiting for you and your smile all my life. Ghouls and ghosts, everything you love most, babe. Ghouls and ghosts, And I've been searching cemeteries, looking for your dead body. I've been looking for a teenage ghost. Whoa. Ghouls and ghosts, everything you love most, babe. Ghouls and ghosts, And I've been searching cemeteries, looking for your dead body. I've been looking for a teenage ghost. Oh.
And that's our show. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks to Ken Heffner. Thanks to Grant Mckenzie. Join us on Thursday for a special edition of Calvin SAO's YouTube channel, where we sit down with Jamie Smith and John Jameson, the bassist for Delta Spirit, for a conversation. That's it. Good night. So anyways, he emails me, because somebody at Hope Campus Ministries emails him and says, or sends it to him and says, you gotta watch this. And he says, I don't know, something jokingly about like, my lawyers will be in contact with you about using my name in your Calvin show. Wow. So I think, he also said, I would like to come on the show to clarify, which I'm like, I don't know if Hope, or if Calvin students would be into that. So I'm thinking, at some point next semester, we should have some sort of like Family Feud style game between the Hope Campus Ministries and the Calvin Campus Ministries.
I think that would be fun. Yeah.
I think it would be great.
I think it would be great too.
So let's make it happen, Mary.